Ready for the sight again, kid? I usually like mixing Psycho in with something else, but I'll need it straight this time.
Psycho? Is that safe?
No, but don't worry. Old Mama Murphy can handle a little pre-war military-grade combat stim.
I've got it.
Oh, Lord. That's pure. Gonna be an interesting trip. I can only see that you're on the right path. If you had any doubts in your mind, you shouldn't. The man you're after, he's the one. He wears all the pain he's caused like a shield. Be strong, kid. The sight's getting foggy, but your energy is glowing brighter than you know. You can win this. He can't hurt you anymore. Oh, no. You should have seen this coming.
Mama Murphy dies.
She's gone.
I told her the Kims will kill her. Damn it. I should have done something.
Her friends who traveled with her all the way from Quincy are shocked. They race to her body, stand around her, and mourn.
She's dead. I just can't believe it.
Are you kidding me? What are we going to do without the site?
This can't be happening. Not again.
I let it go on. Should have told her no.
She's not moving. Oh, God.
Everything always goes wrong. What are we even doing here?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a moment.
With Mama Murphy dead, we lose access to her prophecies. She dies after giving us 5. However, Mama Murphy has a total of 12 different visions that she can share with us. Of course, this is a problem. If she's dead, she can't share anymore. And yet, I still want to include them. She has 1, sometimes 2 new visions for each step along the way during the main quest. If we give chems to Mama Murphy while we're on a quest, we can hear the prophecy. But then, so that she doesn't die, we can reload a save to before we gave her the chems, continue with the quest, and then give her chems when we're on the next part of the main story quest. In that way, we can explore all of her visions, and she never actually has to die. Of course, this only works for clues that don't give us in-game consequences. For example, in our last episode, one of her visions unlocked the ability to find a missing key in Diamond City. But of course, if we reload after hearing the vision, the key still does not spawn. So this method will work for most of them, but not all. For the rest of this series, we'll explore her remaining visions, with the understanding that she dies after sharing them with us. In our last episode, we discovered that the name of the man who kidnapped our son is likely Kellogg. He was last seen in Diamond City with a 10-year-old boy. But a 10-year-old boy couldn't be baby Sean, and yet he's our only lead. We found traces of Kellogg in Diamond City, and using Dogmeat's nose, we tracked him all the way to the ruins of this place, Fort Hagen. We found the front door blocked up, and we had to explore a bit to find a way inside. There are 2 ways inside, but the most obvious path is to use the ramp and scaffolding on the outside of the building to climb to the roof. Along the way, we see that Kellogg has left machine gun turrets behind, and we have to take them out.
Nothing like a little dust-up to get the oil flowing, eh?
After destroying all of the turrets, we arrive on the roof to find a hatch that leads deeper into Fort Hagen. And immediately on the other side, we're attacked by synths.
Damage detected. Log will received. I must report this assault directly.
Fire them.
Already, some of our questions are answered. Kellogg is here, and he is working for the Institute. The synths, as they were attacking us, were talking about reporting us to their leader, Kellogg. Well, we have found the man, but is he the same man who took our son? There's only one way to find out. After destroying these synths, we can explore this small room where we've arrived, and we see that it's the ruins of a number of different rooms that we can explore by passing through damaged walls. In what must have been a secretary's office, we find a skeleton at a table, but aside from scrap, this room is empty. We see the ladder that we climbed down, went into a small storage room, and this connects to the kitchen. On the kitchen counter is a cooler, the fridge is empty, and on the kitchen table is a perk magazine.
Excellent.
It's a copy of Guns and Bullets, Lasers and Hunting. Acceptable overkill. Ballistic weapons permanently do 5% critical damage. Moving out of the kitchen, we can pass through the secretary's office into another room that appears to be an elevated lounge area. We find a cooking station here, and peering through a hole in another wall, we find a turret on a desk.
Reading detected.
After destroying the turret, we can search behind a desk in this room. Here we find an advanced locked wall safe. I couldn't pick it, but if we could, inside we find ammunition, a 10mm pistol, and pre-war money. There are sleeping bags on the ground next to the cooking station that we can use to heal on up, as well as some cram and other boxed foods on the ground. Moving through the hole in the wall into the room where we destroyed the turret, we find even more desks. There's a novice-locked ammo canister on one of the desks, and that's it beside scrap. This room leads west into another room through a door. Heading that way, we find a similar scene, lots of desks and filing cabinets. Not much else. This room leads back to the room where we destroyed all of the synths through a door to the south. Here we see the Nuka-Cola machines and another turret. But before moving towards the turret, we can finish exploring this room. At the western end of this room, we see a hole in the floor. This leads to a room beneath. Our Pip-Boy picks up motion down there, but we don't see anything just yet. We could drop down there, I suppose, but instead we'll head through the southern door past the turret that we just destroyed to find a staircase leading down. Moving down the staircase, we arrive in a hallway next to a large open door and a novice-locked terminal on the wall. Hacking the terminal, we find an option to activate the nearby Protectron. We can choose a personality and turn him on. Hopefully our new Protectron friend can clear the place of a few synths. The Protectron moves out of its charging dock and heads east. We see a staircase going down to the south. We'll head that way later. We could go through the door to the left, but following the Protectron for now, he rounds a corner, past a bunch of pre-war displays, and engages more synths.
Something's afoot. Calm down! At least try it! Hey, cut that out!
Overactive sensors. Nothing more.
Well, we lost our Protectron. Rest in peace, buddy. Retracing our steps so we can head back to the terminal and move through the northern door. We can explore this hallway before proceeding further. Immediately to the north of us is a big caved-in room. We see that this is the room beneath the hole in the floor that we saw above. But we see movement through broken cracks in the western wall. There are synths in that room. Heading out and moving down the hallway, we do find a door, but it's chained on the other side. We can't clear the synths from here. However, we find a storage closet here. There's a novice-locked suitcase on a shelf with some armor inside, and some empty booze bottles on a cabinet hanging on the wall. Heading out and turning left, we see that this southwestern door is blocked up from the other side, and that's it for this hallway. So heading back into the room where the floor collapsed into it, we can loot the place of all of its scrap, and then move through a door to the east to explore more caved-in office cubicles. One of the cubicles has a break in the wall leading back to the hallway where we fought all the synths. There are numerous skeletons on the ground. In one of the cubicles, we find bobby pins on a desk right next to an advanced locked floor safe. Inside, we find ammunition and a pipe pistol. If we continue to explore this room, we find a little bit of a smoking and break nook, more skeletons, a lunch pail, and scrap, but that's it. So with this room being a dead end, we can head through the break in the wall. The Nuka-Cola machine is propped up on cinder blocks, as if someone was using it as shelter or something, but there's really nothing in this room. We can move through it, however, through a break in the wall to the south. And from this room, we can move through a door to the west, back to the hallway that had all of those displays. And we can sadly loot the remains of our intrepid Protectron. After looting all of the corpses, we can head back into the previous room. There is an elevated platform here with a number of cabinets, and as we continue, we see a Tesla trap on the ceiling. It's connected to this explosives box, and it's rigged with a tension trigger. We can disarm it, and then disarm the trap. There is a skeleton wearing a helmet right next to the explosives box, and it's locked with a novice lock, so we can pick this. Inside, we find some thrown explosives. Turning right, we find a chemistry station and a couple of other cabinets and desks, cubicles, and scrap littering this room. We don't find much until moving west, we see another break in yet another wall, but this one is mined. There's a fragmentation mine on the ground here that we can disarm and loot. Stepping through the door, we arrive in another awkward little hallway here. To the right is the remains of our Protectron and the bodies of the synths we killed. Directly in front of us is a break in a wall exposing some interior pipework that leads to a bathroom. The bathroom has a first aid kit on the wall, but it's otherwise empty. The door leads back out to this hallway. We can peer through a break in a wall, but we don't see much. However, we do hear a turret. So we know something is in there. Heading through the door, we find it. This room with a vaulted ceiling is really odd. Looks like it might have been a classroom or a lecture room, but the way the furniture is arrayed is just weird. Heading through a break in the wall to the west, we find more skeletons, a duffel bag, and turning right, we move down a hallway to find a synth.
Hello, I have deconfigured.
Oh, this is
Offline.
need to move. Terrific.
With the synth destroyed, we can turn around and explore the room with the duffel bag, but we just find scrap. Moving north, we find another snack nook with a refrigerator and a cigarette machine. After looting the bodies of the synths, we can continue north down the hallway to arrive at a large computer room. We see consoles and terminals all over the place. And then, a ceiling-mounted turret finds us.
Come out and over here, sir.
This is another very strange room with an elevated platform in the middle with just cabinets on top of it. Moving that way, we have to be careful, however, because we find another frag mine right in front of an advanced locked terminal. If we could have hacked it, we would have been able to control the turret and unlock a locked security door. Next to this is an end-of-dungeon steamer trunk with ammunition, thrown explosives, and a couple of weapons. The consoles and cabinets don't have anything of interest, so moving on, we find the security gate that we opened using the terminal. I won't take any of this because I couldn't hack the terminal, but inside we would have found a first aid kit with a stim pack and water, and a couple of ammo boxes filled with ammunition. Moving out from here, we can unchain a door to the southeast. This is that door at the end of the hallway that led to the room where we heard all of those synths moving around, right next to the room that had the caved-in roof. Well, at last we've cleared it. Now, we could turn around and go down that staircase we found right next to the Protectron charging dock, but here we find an elevator. Heading inside, we arrive in a long hallway bathed in red light. Creeping down the hallway, we see a chained door to the left. Oh, and a synth!
What's all this? I trust everyone's still alive.
With the synth and the turret destroyed, we can unchain the door to the left. It leads to a room that takes us to parking. There's a big P above the door. Before heading that way, I wanted to get rid of this laser tripwire. Not sure what it was attached to. Then heading through the door, we see the staircase leading upstairs that we passed by earlier. Heading up the stairs, we find a novice-locked toolbox by a skeleton that we can pick for some bobby pins and scrap. And sure enough, after passing a number of skeletons, we arrive on the floor above, right next to the Protectron charging dock. So, all the way back down, we can turn right to open the door to parking. This takes us outside to the Commonwealth, and we see that this is another way we could have entered Fort Hagen. But it doesn't really change much, because the door that leads to this was chained on the other side. Had we entered through this parking garage, we would have had to have gone upstairs and passed by the Protectron to continue exploring. But that hallway wasn't patrolled, so it would have been safer than coming through the roof. Because remember, when we came through the roof, we were instantly attacked by synths. This parking garage is pretty elaborate. We find a number of wrecked cars and nooks and crannies. There's the body of a settler in a chair next to a pushcart covered in chems and a first aid kit. There is a chemistry station right next to this guy and a bed where we can rest on up. The staircase here leads upstairs back out to daylight, and we can use this to leave Fort Hagen. There are actually two ways out of the parking garage. Instead of taking the staircase, we can take a ramp right next to the door we used to arrive here to go up a couple of levels and head back out to daylight. But we don't want to do either of those things. We want to confront Kellogg. So retracing our steps, we can head back to the door, move down the hallway, and turn left. Passing over the laser tripwire that we disarmed, we see a skeleton in a pushcart. The laser tripwire was connected to a Tesla trap on the wall. We could go straight towards the wreckages or turn left. Turning left for now, we find a utility room with pipes and machines and turbines and all sorts of stuff. There's a little bit of scrap here, but more importantly, a weapons workbench and an armor workbench. We find a novice-locked chem cooler on a shelf with a little bit of food and chems inside. And then heading out the hole in the wall, we can loot the body of the synth that we destroyed when we exited the elevator. Moving south, we head through a door. We can loot the turret we destroyed.
Hello. It would appear your attempt at stealth has...
Where was he? I had to replay the footage to see where this guy was. After slowing it down, it looks like he was hiding in this mist in the back of the room, and I didn't see him until he was upon me. Guess I need to be a little bit more careful. There's a little bit of scrap in this room, but not much, so heading down the stairs, we can loot the body of the synth. But as we move forward...
Yeah, if it isn't my old friend, the frozen TV dinner. Last time we met, you were cozying up to the peas and apple cobbler.
Holy crap. It's Kellogg, and he's watching us. We see a little speaker on the wall near the ceiling. He's talking to us, but he called us a frozen TV dinner. That means he knows we were in a cryopod because he was there in Vault 111. We found him. Now we just need to end him. Moving down the hallway, we find a tension trigger on a security gate. Disarming it, we can open the gate to arrive at a check-in desk. There are lockers to the right, filled with scrap. Moving towards the desk, we find 2 pulse grenades next to a typewriter. There's a lunchbox with food and a novice-locked ammo canister on a shelf. Next to it is a first aid kit on the wall by the desk. With this place looted, we can continue down the stairs. Rounding a corner, we find a turret. Moving past the turret, we open yet another security gate to find a long hallway at the end of which is another double door.
Sorry your house has been a wreck for 200 years, but I don't need a roommate. Leave.
You really think that's gonna make me leave, Kellogg? He wrecked our house and destroyed our family, and here he mocks us for it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going anywhere. Nick is one of the few companions who has custom dialogue for this location and this mission.
Your thoughts?
Remember, Kellogg's a professional. He won't make it easy.
Your thoughts?
An old military fort. Not a bad place to operate from. Plenty of security.
Your thoughts?
Keep your guard up. He might try to ambush us.
Your thoughts?
We're close. I can almost smell that old Merc cigars.
Your thoughts?
We survived this. I owe you a stiff drink.
At the end of the hallway, we can open the double doors to enter the Fort Hagen Command Center. We arrive in a concrete room surrounded by consoles. There's a helmeted skeleton on the ground, a gated-off area with nothing inside, and so we can continue forward.
Never expected you to come knocking on my door. Gave you 50-50 odds of making it to Diamond City. After that, figured the Commonwealth would chew you up like jerky.
Well, hate to disappoint, but here I am. Knock, knock, Kellogg. Daddy's here. Continuing down the steps, we hear the sound of more synths.
Hostile sensor reading detected.
And then they find us.
There you are.
There are more in there. Creeping down, we can move through a doorway and down a hallway. The paint is peeling on the walls to the right. There is some gated off area to the left. And at the end of the hall, we find 2 synths.
Assembly is still intact. There you are.
Damaged.
Pop that out! I'm supposed to be impressed! And that's how it's done. Am I right, sir?
Okay, well, that Molotov was a bad idea. Who knew that flaming fuel in a confined hallway could potentially be bad? I think I did more damage to myself than I did to the synths. Oh well, I'm alive. Moving forward, we loot the bodies. We find a doorway to the right and a locked exit door to the left. There is a skeleton a la Kimbo here, right next to a big console. But this exit door is locked. It's a security door. We can't open it. So turning right down the double doors.
Look, you're pissed off, I get it, I do. But whatever you hope to accomplish in here, it's not gonna go your way.
And yet you've told me to go away 3 times now. I mean, are you scared or something? Turning right down the hallway, we find a door to the left that leads to a bunk room. There are footlockers at the end of each bunk, one of which has 3 fusion cores in it, hey, and a lot of ammunition in the others. We could sleep in these beds. I'm sure Kellogg will let us take a nap. And, at least in my game, I found this door against the western wall open. Right next to it is an expert-locked terminal. I couldn't hack it, but if we could, inside we find turret control and remote door control. I'm guessing that the remote door control led to this door that I found open because inside this room we actually find a novice-locked security gate that remains locked even if I toggle the door control. So picking the lock, we find a first aid kit on the wall inside and a busted safe filled with pre-war money and some bobby pins. But then we hear it.
Head down, sir. It appears someone is shooting.
Oh, Codsworth. Why you gotta run right into the turrets, man? In a suitcase, underneath we find a bunch of armor, some of which was better than I had on, and then we can loot the lockers in this room. Out of this room, we can head back to the hallway and move west. Looks like Codsworth took care of the turret. Let's see, are there any others? Oh, yeah.
Fancy a bit of fisticuffs? Pop that out. I was just getting warmed up. This should be fun. That about takes care of that.
Nice, Codsworth. Who knew that a pre-war robo-butler could be so useful in combat? I'll take a floating flamethrower every day. Well, before heading down there, we can move west. Here we find a door that leads to the bathrooms. Moving inside, we can examine each of these stalls. We find a copy of Blast Radius on one of the toilets. And then moving past the sinks, we find the showers, but there's nothing here. So that's it for this end. Heading back to the staircase, we can move down it, loot the bodies, and then pick a direction. Let's go left for now. Oh, wait a minute, something sees me. Ah!
What's all this? Not this time. I don't feel the pain, you know.
Wow, so this is why turret control on that expert lock terminal is so useful. We could have turned all of these off. Turning back around, because I think this looks like a dead end, we can move east to open this door into another office. Lots of typewriters and telephones and scrap. Nothing else. Back to the hallway, we can move west. We see a pushcart with boxes on it blocking a window that leads to a kitchen. Is that a kitchen? Continuing down the hallway, we see a room to the right filled with fusion reactors. And in one is a fusion core. Taking it doesn't seem to alter the power level of this facility. Moving through a western door, we find a workroom with an ammo box on one of the tables and a novice-locked toolbox on one of the cabinets with scrap inside. After looting the room, we can head back to the hallway and continue to follow it west. At the end of the hallway, we loot the laser turret before turning south. There is a skeleton hanging out of one of these windows. I think that leads to the room where we saw all of the kitchen appliances. But opening the door to the right first, we arrive at sick bay.
Mr. Nate, With luck, we'll find a cache of ammunition.
No ammunition, but a first aid kit on the wall, a stim pack on a side table, and a bunch of Rad-X and Radaway on some shelves nearby. Back to the hallway. We see a staircase leading down to the south, a room bathed in red light to the right, and then a door to the left leading to this room where the skeleton is hanging out of the window. Heading inside, we find a mess hall. The Etotronic on the wall is filled with rotten food. And then heading through the double door, sure enough, we find the kitchen. And look at that! It's a bobblehead.
Excellent.
Energy Weapons Bobblehead. Arrive at peaceful resolutions by using superior firepower. We permanently gain 25% critical damage with energy weapons. Oh man, another reason to use my righteous authority. As we examine all of the appliances in this kitchen, we see movement on the other side of the windows. Uh-oh, more synths. Let's see if I can time this one right.
Odd. My scanners must be malfunctioning. Hello?
Oh, come on! Try again! Oh, I'm just awful at this. Third time's the charm.
Feel free to give up at any time!
I mean, I had the Molotov cocktails. I wanted to use the Molotov cocktails. I just, used them mainly on myself there. Ow. After recovering from our self-inflicted burns, we can head back and finish exploring this kitchen. It leads to a supply room in the back with crates and stuff. There's a novice-locked explosives box on one of these shelves with more explosives inside. Great. More Molotov cocktails to use. Probably a bad idea. But with this place looted, we can head out, back to the hallway, and turn left. We can now explore this room to the right, bathed in red light. It takes us down a staircase and around a corner where we find a Nuka-Cola Quantum in the arms of a skeleton next to a red toolbox. Inside the toolbox is the Fort Hagen Armory password. Cool. But we haven't found an armory yet, but I guess we'll keep our eyes peeled. Back to the hallway, we can head down the stairs and turn left. Moving forward.
You got guts and determination. It's admirable. But you are in over your head in ways you can't possibly comprehend.
And again, he's trying to turn us back. Is it because he's scared, or does he really not want to have to hurt us? Either way, it doesn't matter. Moving down the hallway, we find more synths. I know! Molotov cocktail!
Movement detected.
Come out and face it! Aha! There you are! Repose!
Sorry, Codsworth!
His bottom! That out! Coming with you all around!
Hey, okay, I didn't hurt myself in that. I mean, I got hurt, but at least I didn't hurt myself. Codsworth is a pretty great tank. Thanks for taking all those hits, buddy. Moving down the hallway, we find a first aid kit in a pushcart. At the end of the hall, we turn left, and we see a speaker on the wall. That can only mean...
It's not too late. Stop. Turn around and leave. You have that option. Not a lot of people can say that.
Which makes me wonder why we have that option. Why is he so reluctant to attack us?
Yes, well, isn't this all very exciting?
Well, I'm glad you're thrilled, Codsworth. I'm kind of nursing my wounds here. Heading up the stairs and moving through a door. Uh-oh! Phew. Gotta stop talking to robots and pay attention. We arrive in a room with 3 paths. The left hallway is filled in with rubble. The door ahead of us is locked with a terminal, and so we can peer down the hallway to the right. But we see a turret.
Picking up hostile
With the turret destroyed, we can move forward to examine this door with the terminal, and we see that we can unlock it with the Fort Hagen Armory password that we found in the red toolbox next to the skeleton holding the Nuka-Cola Quantum. Accessing the terminal, we can open the door, whereupon we find an armory for sure. Stim packs on a shelf to the right, a novice-locked toolbox on top of a shelf with scrap inside, Rad-X and bobby pins on another shelf, a first aid box on the wall, and a novice-locked security gate. Picking the gate. Holy cow, we find the mother lode. Lying on a desk is a fat man. Yes, please. I think I'll kill Kellogg with this. Then on a shelf above it is a mini nuke with fusion cells, a laser pistol on the shelf right next to it, a 10mm pistol with ammunition on a shelf right next to that, and to the right is another shelf with 10mm rounds, and above it, a shelf with 5.56 rounds. Well, we found a lot of goodies. I can't wait to fire a miniature nuclear warhead in an underground confined hallway, because that's going to be brilliant. Heading out of the armory, we can move east down the hall. There's a room to the left. Looks like an officer's quarters. There's a novice-locked terminal on the wall directly next to the door. But hacking it, we just gain access to turret control. Oh, wish I knew that earlier. There's a bed here we could rest and some scrap. And a copy of U.S. Covert Operations Manual.
Bingo.
Squeaky floorboard, sudden death. Permanently more difficult to detect while sneaking. Awesome, I hope that's going to help while sneaking around with a fat man on my shoulder. There is a door in the eastern wall. This leads to the shower. Here we find a novice-locked first aid kit on the wall. After looting the mirror, we can head out of the officer's quarters and continue down the hallway to the east. We arrive in a large lobby, I guess? There's a red door flanked with American flags to the north and a blue door to the south. Heading through the blue door, we find another barracks, but these barracks are meager. We find some flamer fuel and a footlocker at the foot of one of the beds, another door that leads to a laundry facility with a first aid kit on the wall, some bobby pins on a shelf, and some scrap on a washer and dryer. With the barracks explored, we can head back to the lobby. Behind the desk are the remains of the laser turret that we can loot and some pre-war money, and then moving forward. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's right. I disabled it after I hacked that terminal. Well, this looks like the kind of door that a big, bad, ugly, scarred boss would hide behind. And so we can pull out our fat man. We can take a moment to reflect on everything we've gone through to this point. It was Mama Murphy who told us that we were on the right path. And somehow hearing that from her filled us with confidence. Made us feel stronger, more secure, better able to face this struggle against Kellogg. In fact, her prophecy was so useful, it gave us the foreknowledge perk. Kellogg does 25% less damage. Only by going to Mama Murphy and giving her chems while on this quest reunions just before we meet Kellogg do we get the foreknowledge perk. It's useful only once, right now. But right now, I'm glad I have it. Moving forward, we can open the red door. But we don't find Kellogg. We find another room with another door. Moving forward.
Okay, you made it. I'm just up ahead. My sins are standing down. Let's talk.
Oh, and now he wants to talk. Okay, I suppose I am curious. I wonder what he'll have to say. With a fat man over my shoulder. Exploring this room, we find a little bit of scrap. There's a camera in the corner here. We get the impression that this bunker beneath Fort Hagen was used to keep parts of the military running after the apocalypse. And then there is some interesting furniture here. It's not old. It's not ruined. It's not dirty. It's clean and new. Doesn't fit in with anything we've seen in the wasteland so far. We find some purified water on some of this furniture. And then there's, what's this? It's a med kit? This doesn't look at all like the first aid kits we have found so far. Inside is a stim pack and Adactol. There is a bed here. I guess Kellogg would let us sleep one off if we wanted to. And next to it is a novice-locked ammo box. This is an ammo box. Inside we find fusion cells. When ready, we can head through the door, turn left, walk up the stairs, whereupon a door opens. We see a hazy, dimly lit room on the other side, and we know exactly who's waiting for us.
And there he is. Most resilient man in the Commonwealth. Funny. I thought I had that honor. Let's, talk.
Where is my son? Where is Sean?
Pal, I'm just a puppet like you. My stage is a little bigger, that's all. Sean's a good kid. Bit older than you expected, am I right? But he's doing great. Only, he's not here. He's with the people pulling the strings.
End of the line, Kellogg. You die, and I get my son back.
You can turn around right now. Go back the way you came. Sean. Now, besides being a bit older than you were expecting, I'm afraid he's not even here. So you see, it is the end of the line. But not the way you imagined.
You murdered my wife. Took my son. You're a dead man.
Your wife. That was a regrettable accident. Still, this world, this life, you've seen it. Pain, suffering. Death is its only escape. But don't worry. Sean's fine. Maybe a little older than you expected, huh? But I can't give him to you. Because he ain't here.
You murdering, kidnapping psychopath. Give me my son. Give me Sean. Now.
Right to it then, huh? Okay. Fine. Your son Sean. Great kid. A little older than you may have expected. But I'm guessing you figured that out by now. But if you're hoping for a happy reunion, ain't gonna happen, pal. Your boy's not here.
God damn it, you mercenary motherfucker. Where is my son?
What's the cliche? So close, but yet so far away? That's Sean. But don't worry. You'll die knowing he's safe and happy. A bit older than you expected, but ah well. At least he's in a loving home.
Then you're gonna take me to him. Right now.
Take you to him. Like I could, even if I wanted to. Don't you get it? Your son, he's in a place nobody can reach. Sean's safe, at home.
Fuck you, Kellogg.
Let him go. Your time's done. Your son is exactly where he belongs.
Tell me where he is, damn it.
Fine. I guess you've earned that much. Sean's in a good place. Where he's safe and comfortable and loved. The place he calls home. The Institute.
So where is it, huh? This Institute. How do I get there?
Haven't you been paying attention? You don't find the Institute. The Institute finds you. You open the closet, it's just a closet. You can never find the monster that hides inside. Not until it jumps out at you.
Here, the Institute. I'll find my son no matter where he is.
That's the spirit. You know, you surprise me, I have to admit. I find myself actually kinda liking you. I admire your dedication to fatherhood. Even if it is ultimately useless.
No! That's not true. It can't be. I've come so far.
Yes, you have. And believe it or not, I'm actually kind of sorry you wasted your time. In another life, you probably would have been a good father. But here, in this terrible reality, you just don't get that chance.
The Institute? Well, I'll find him. No matter where he is. Nothing will stop me.
God, you're persistent. I give you credit. It's the way a father should act. The way I'd be acting if I was in your place, I like to think. But I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end. So, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Question is, are you? I'm going to make you suffer. You know I am, Kellogg. You know, in 100 years, when I finally die, I only hope I go to hell, so I can kill you all over again, you piece of shit.
You must.
It's done. After all that time, we've got our vengeance. Well, part of it anyway. And yet it kind of rings a bit hollow. Kellogg seemed to regret killing our wife, though he called it an accident. It wasn't an accident. He murdered her. He could have not. But he seemed to be one of the few people in the wasteland we've met so far who actually admired fatherhood, admired the grit and determination about fighting to save someone. He developed a sort of fatalistic view of the world that might be practical, but it's also rather hopeless. He made it sound like he wanted to be a better person. He could have been a better person, but it's this world that kept him from becoming that. It's this world that made him the man that he was, and so therefore he's not responsible. It's not his fault. It's the world's fault. I'm glad he's dead. He deserved what he got, but I have to say I'm still intrigued by this guy. On his body, we find Kellogg's terminal password. We find a cybernetic brain augmenter.
All this tech. You were barely human.
Whatever that is. And we find Kellogg's pistol, the weapon he used to murder Nora. Too bad we couldn't kill him with it. Well, maybe we can kill some of these Institute bigwigs with it. It's a legendary item, and it refills our action points on a critical hit. We also find a bunch of other goodies on his inventory, including stealth boys. 2 of them. He used one during the fight. For all his bravado, he wasn't afraid to go invisible to win the fight at all costs. And we find a cybernetic limb actuator, a cybernetic pain inhibitor, and Kellogg's outfit. The brain augmenter, the limb actuator, and the pain inhibitor appear as miscellaneous items in our inventory. We can't junk them or scrap them. And Kellogg's outfit is pretty decent. It fills all of our armor slots, so we can't wear armor over it. But compared to the vault suit, it's superior, with 30 ballistic damage resistance and 30 energy damage resistance. It's an outfit worth wearing earlier on in the game, but at this point, the armor I've collected, combined, is a little bit better.
Good job. That bastard won't be hurting anyone else. We should take a look around, get all the intel this place can hide.
Your thoughts?
Don't know if Kellogg was the kind of guy to take notes, but there's a lot of old computer terminals here.
Your thoughts?
Kellogg definitely had some connections, no doubt about that.
Your thoughts?
Wonder what Kellogg was up to before we dropped in on him.
Your thoughts?
You think Kellogg was planning something big here? Or maybe this is just where he'd hide to lick his wounds.
Nearby, we find an end-of-dungeon steamer trunk with caps, ammunition, armor, and a pistol inside. And we find more of this strange furniture dotting the room, completely out of place for this pre-war military installation. This furniture must have been brought here by Kellogg from the Institute. After looting the various med kits and ammo boxes on all of these tables, we find a copy of Robco Fun next to a terminal. And this includes the Pitfall holotape game. Then at last we can use the password we found on Kellogg's body to hack into Kellogg's terminal. Inside we find 2 options. In the first, view access logs. Access log, access local, login Kellogg. Notes, the boy, Sean, successfully delivered back to the Institute, payment received. New orders to track down Renegade. Gathered reinforcements, cleared out and secured Fort Hagen. We move out soon. And this shows us that he wasn't lying. Kellogg really did deliver Sean back to the Institute. We won't find him here at Fort Hagen. And the one man who knows how to get to the Institute, we just killed. But what did he mean there about tracking down a renegade? Renegade? Are they describing Nate as a renegade? But that doesn't make sense. A renegade is a deserter, a traitor, a turncoat, really. So if Kellogg wasn't hunting Nate, who exactly was he hunting? Backing out of logs, we can access the security door control. This opens the locked door that we passed by on our way through Fort Hagen. And if we have Nick Valentine with us, he has a few things to say.
So, Kellogg wasn't giving us any bull. Your son really is on the inside. Even I don't know where the Institute is. And they built me.
You don't know anything, Nick?
Look at me. I'm trash. They threw me in the junk pile ages ago. Just another discarded prototype, Didn't exactly leave me the house keys.
Oh, Mr. Metal for Hands doesn't know how to get back to the factory?
No, I skipped that part of the orientation film while they were busy pulling me apart and putting me back together again.
Bullshit. You're a synth, Valentine. Tell me what you know.
You want to know the truth? The sad thing is I have no idea. None of us do. You think they'd cut me loose if I had something on them?
There has to be a way, Nick.
We're in the weeds here. Time to take a step back. Bring in some fresh eyes. Only person I know willing to snoop up the Institute's tail feathers is Piper, the reporter in Diamond City. I say we head her way. Talk this through.
How could Piper help us?
Trust me, that dame knows a lot more than she lets on. And she lets on a lot. If I know her, she's done her homework. And we need to talk this through with someone.
I'll catch up later.
All right. I'll see you in Diamond City. And don't worry.
It's over. I've lost him.
Look, I know it feels like a shot in the heart, but this case isn't closed. Not while I'm on it.
Diamond City it is.
Hey, chin up. I know the night just got darker, but it won't last forever.
Heading back to the hallway, we can move east, and we see the door is now open to us. There is an elevator at the end of this hallway. We can loot the variety of lockers and toolboxes on either side. One of the lockers has bobby pins and buff out inside, and when ready, we can activate the elevator. Moving into the elevator, we can take it up. And after a long ride, we arrive on the rooftop. But to get out, we've got to access this terminal on the wall. After disabling any connected turrets, we can open the security door. And upon stepping out onto the roof, we look up to see... What is that? It's a Zeppelin?
People of the Commonwealth, do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful. We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh, it's the Brotherhood of Steel. This must be Scabbard, Paladin Dance's superiors. We helped him get the deep-range transmitter working. He must have been able to relay the information he wanted to, and Scabbard came running.
Jove! The Brotherhood of Steel? Do you suppose it's the military?
I don't believe it.
Deep into that darkness, peering. Long I stood there, wondering, fearing.
Here, Nick Valentine quoted from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Poe once said that the raven in his poem was meant to symbolize mournful and never-ending remembrance. But here I think Nick Valentine is recalling the poem, interpreting the raven as dread. The raven arrived at the narrator's house, an unexpected guest tapping at his chamber door. And here the Pridwin, a bird of a kind, arrives in the Commonwealth, unexpected, and with their unknowable motivations, it brings fear. As I think Nick makes plain when we try to talk with him about it.
Your thoughts?
Flying that ship into the heart of the Commonwealth. Mark my words, the Brotherhood's here to start a war.
Your thoughts?
Have you ever seen anything like that? The airship? God! They must have an entire army on that thing.
Your thoughts?
That airship was quite impressive. Whoever this Brotherhood is, let's hope they're friendly.
Your thoughts?
Now that we've done them a proper turn, let's hope they can return the favor.
Your thoughts?
Sir, I realize you have military training, but I fear your decision may have been too abrupt. The Brotherhood seems more concerned about their technology than the people of the Commonwealth.
Your thoughts?
I must admit I feel a bit foolish. I felt certain if we found Kellogg, we'd find young Sean.
Your thoughts?
I went to the zoo the other day. The only animal they had was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
If before this point we never met Paladin Dance at the Cambridge police station, we begin the quest Revelry. Investigate the Brotherhood of Steel airship. And we see that our quest marker sends us to the Boston airport. We'll explore that path in the future. However, if we had met Paladin Dance, we instead begin the quest Shadow of Steel. We need to listen to military frequency AF95. the same one we listened to when we met Paladin Dance.
Repeating. This is Paladin Dance on frequency 95. All Brotherhood of Steel units are to return to the Cambridge police station immediately for reassignment.
Sounds like Paladin Dance wants us to meet him back at the Cambridge police station. And maybe we will someday. But right now, we still need to focus on finding Sean. We learned a lot. Apparently, Sean is no longer a baby. He's older. 10 years old? Could that be true? How could Sean be 10 years old when we just stepped out of Vault 111? But then we remember. What was it Kellogg said? He called us the backup and then put us back on ice. We were frozen a second time. It felt like the same moment to us at the time, but when we stumbled out of the cryopod, we must have stumbled out years after Kellogg killed Nora and kidnapped our son. That makes Sean a 10-year-old boy. He spent a decade living inside the Institute. That makes this reunion even more challenging. But he's still our son. We're still his father, and it's still our duty to protect him. If we brought Nick Valentine with us, he wanted to get Piper's perspective before we decided what to do next. And if we didn't have Nick Valentine with us, we still need to go back to Valentine's detective agency to check in with him. Either way, our next move is to head back to Diamond City, which we'll tackle in my next episode. I publish new episodes each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. This completes Act 1 of Fallout 4. I need a bit more time to collect more footage from Act 2 before I continue with this series, so I might not have the next episode ready for you in this coming week, but never fear, we'll begin Act 2 soon and continue with our quest to find Sean. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos and access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new episodes.
Mr. Nate, pick anything good?